All right, so to find a common ratio here, all we're going to do is divide by these two numbers here, and you're going to do it a couple different times, okay? 10 divided by 20, 5 divided by 10, 5 halves divided by 5, okay? So just really quick, I'm going to write it out. 10 divided by 20 is half. 5 divided by 10 is half. And 5 halves divided by 5 is also half. So since they all equal half, that means that my common ratio is half. And there you go. Okay, so that's how you find a common ratio, just divide. So do me a favor, guys. Go ahead and try doing this problem right here. Just because it has negatives doesn't make it harder. It's just same thing. You're just looking for division. All right, so does anybody have the answer for me? What is the R value? 3, right? So yeah, R is equal to 3. Okay? And just to show you, I mean, negative 9 divided by negative 3 is 3, right? We're just dividing this way. Negative 27 divided by negative 9 is 3, and negative 81 divided by negative 27 is also 3. So again, what I mentioned earlier to you guys, I actually wasn't recording at the time, but if the numbers don't match up, if you got 3, 3, 4, then that means there is no common ratio, so the R value doesn't exist, okay? But for us, we got 3, 3, 3, so that's good. And the problem above, we got half, half, and half, so the R values do exist, all right? So you are going to have some questions like this on your quiz, okay? I think there's 2 of them, if I'm correct. There's only 10 questions on the quiz, all right? Now, example 2. Now, for these, the words evaluate the geometric series means they want you to add the geometric series, okay? Maybe they'll give you a list of numbers like part B, you can see at the very bottom, or they might just give you the main pieces of information, okay? In order to do these types of problems, you need 3 pieces of information. You need your A sub 1, you need your R value, you need your N value. And for us in part A, they gave us all of it. So there's nothing that I have to try to solve on my own. It's all been given, okay? So since I see an N value, they're telling me you're going to go 10 terms only, then that means I get to use this equation right here. S sub n equal to A sub 1, 1 minus R to the n over 1 minus R. Okay, I'm going to kind of move this a little bit to the side. I just remembered I'm going to have to use a calculator, so let me just move this over. So that's the formula I'm going to use when they want me to add up the geometric series when they give me the n value. If there is no n value, then I get to use the infinite geometric series, okay? But we'll do a little bit of those later. For now, they did give me an n value. So here we go. S sub n, that's S sub 10, equals to A sub 1, which is 2, times 1 minus R, which is 3 to the 10th, over 1 minus 3. Now you could simplify this if you want. I'm just going to go ahead and put that into a calculator. So here we go. Let me punch that into the calculator for us. 2 times 1 minus 3 to the 10th divided by 1 minus 3 is negative 2. So 59,048. So there's my answer. S sub 10, 59,048. Notice this wasn't a hard problem to do because they gave me everything. All I needed to know was 2 things. Number 1, what's the formula, right? And number 2, I better use my calculator properly or else I'm going to get the answer wrong. Okay, this is one of the reasons why us math teachers always tell you guys should have your own calculators. The reason why we tell you that is because when you have your own calculator, you get used to it, which means you know how your buttons work and how you have to press things and stuff like that. So you probably won't miss these types of questions when you have to input things. When a calculator is brand new, sometimes you don't know how to use it yet. right? They seem simple enough, but sometimes, parentheses are needed, sometimes they're not, right? You got to get to know them. So it's good to have your own so that you get used to your own calculator, okay? But anyway, here you go. And I'll have calculators for you guys tomorrow to use, so you should be okay. So look at this next one. So remember, I told you needed 3 things in order to do these problems. You needed your first term, a sub 1. You needed your r value. You needed your n value. Okay? So, there you go. That's going to be in the recording. Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry. You can listen to it later.
From a different class.
Yeah, it's okay.
Even though it is the game section of a different class.
So what letter am I missing? What do I not have? My r term, right? I have my a sub 1. I have my n value, right? My n value is 8. My r value, I don't have it, but I can figure it out. But let me write this out really quick. A sub 1 equals 1. N equals 8. R, what's my r value? You got to look at your numbers. You're going from -2 and you're dividing a 1. 4 divided by -2. -8 divided by 4. What's that r value? -2. And now that I have those 3 things, I can now just punch it into a calculator using this formula. So again, I'm just going to write the formula. That's what I usually do. Let's fill it in. So S sub 8 is equal to A sub 1, which is 1. 1 minus R, which is -2 to the nth, which is 8, over 1 minus -2. Now the 1 in front of the parenthesis doesn't matter because it's 1 times something, so it's not going to change it. It's just going to remain the same. So I'm just going to kind of rewrite this thing here as 1 minus -2 to the 8th divided by 3. Because 1 minus a -2 is a 3. And now I'm going to use my calculator. So here we go. The numerator, is 1 minus a -2 to the 8th divided by 3. That's -85. So S sub 8 is -85. So if you want to give yourself like a little hint when you're doing your notes or when you're studying this, for these type of problems, just remember what you need is A sub 1, R, and N. If you have those 3 things, you can do these problems. If you're missing one, then you got to figure it out. Okay? You're going to have to figure them out. Any questions so far? All right. So, there's going to be, I think, like 3 of these questions on your test. Okay? Where you have to use S sub n. Here's example 3. Now this one's supposed to be on the easier side, but always depends on how you do it. But they say find the next 3 terms. And they give you -1, 2, -4, 8, and I just need to know the next 3. In order to find the next 3 terms, what do I need to know? The r value, right? What is my r value? If I go from -1 to 2, and then from 2 to -4, and then -4 to 8, yeah, -2. That's my r value. So now that I know that I'm just going to multiply by -2, what's 8 times -2? -16, then -16 times -2, 32, and 32 times -2. All right, -64, and there you go. We got the next 3 terms. I know there's one of these for sure on the quiz, but I don't know if there's 2. I know there's one for sure. There might be two. All right, we're down to the last example. There is an A and a B. I'll do part A, you'll do part B. Granted, none of my classes have been able to do the final answer because I think the fraction is freaking them out. But we'll see if you guys can do it. So example number 4. Notice, evaluate the geometric series, which means add them all up, right? So you're thinking, okay, it's one of two equations, the S sub n equation or the S equation. You use S sub n if they gave you an n value. But if you look, this one doesn't have an n value. So that means you're doing this infinitely, okay? So this is an infinite geometric series. By the way, I think on your quiz, they're actually going to use the word infinite in it to give you an even bigger hint that you're using S equals to. So for this, my equation is just a sub 1 over 1 minus r. But remember, before you do this, you got to make sure you have permission to use it. The way you check for permission is this little statement. The absolute value of r has to be less than 1. Well, the absolute value of r is half, so absolute value of half. What's the absolute value of half? Did I hear someone say it? Half, yeah. 1/2, right? So it's half, which is less than 1. So we're good. That gives me permission. Now, if you're thinking like, well, what if I don't do it? Will it matter? Actually, if you do the work and let's say r is 4, right? And you didn't check it, you'll still get an answer. It's just going to be wrong. Okay? So you got to make sure that actually holds true. So it did. So now we just got to plug in the numbers. A sum 1 is 20. 1 minus half. 1 minus a half is a half. And 20 divided by half is 40. So here's your answer. So that'll add up to 40. So do me a favor. Try this one. A sub 1 is negative 10, and r is a quarter. All right, did anybody get the solution for this? It's a negative number. Negative what? Yeah, negative 13.3333333, right? Yeah, that's the right answer. Negative 13.333, and so on. So here we go. This is how it looks. Since there's no n, then I get to use this formula. Okay? Before I use that formula, I got to make sure that my r value in its absolute value is less than 1. So remember, absolute value of r has to be less than 1. So r is a quarter, which is a quarter. The absolute value of a quarter is a quarter, which is less than 1. So this is good, okay? It works out. I can plug my numbers into this formula. And again, for tomorrow's quiz, it should work for you guys, okay? Actually, wait. There might actually be one where there is no sum. Remember, the way you can tell if there's no sum is if the absolute value of r is not less than 1. You did some of those for homework, okay? So, but make sure you guys kind of write a little note for yourself. Like, make sure you check the absolute value of r, okay? So, a sub 1 is negative 10. 1 minus a quarter. 1 minus a quarter. So if you have $1 and you take away a quarter, how many quarters do you have? 3. So this is 3 quarters. Okay. And negative 10 divided by 3 quarters, you multiply by the reciprocal. So S would be negative 40 over 3. Okay. Or approximately negative 13.333. So here's your solution. So that's what's on tomorrow's quiz.